What's my line, Joe?
Okay,
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Froe Show. My name is Frank Mencken, and I'm joined, as always, by my ever-radiant and ever-beautiful co-host,
I think that was almost what you said last week.
Joe Murray.
Hey, Frank.
Hello, welcome. We're back in person.
We are back in person.
I'm over here. I can point at my camera. Joe can point at his camera.
I'm over there.
I am going to have a significantly larger amount of work to do later in editing.
Yeah.
But that's, you know what? That's okay. That's what we do it for. We do it for the jump in quality. We do it for the jump in that's about it.
Yeah.
Our setup's pretty wild though. I finally get to use my new studio space, which is very exciting.
Yes.
It's a little jank. I'm just looked at my iPad, Joe.
What?
It's gone down another %.
How? That is so quick, though.
I was just complaining to Joe before the show that I have my iPad next to me with my notes and stuff, and it's plugged in and it's charging, but it keeps dropping in battery power. So
it's dropped like 3% in the last 2 minutes.
It's dropped like so much. So I might actually just have it turned off unless I need it. That might be for the best.
I feel it won't die.
Joe, what do you think about being back in person?
I love it.
I can touch you.
Weird.
It's gonna look so. I'm gonna. we can see ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
We have these big monitors. So we like.
Oh, that is weird how they like overlap.
Yeah, there's. So I have a lot more overlap with Joe on my end.
Yeah.
But I can really only get my hand into Joe's shot. But I can get my whole head in if I try really hard.
Hey.
There I am.
Yes.
So yeah, being back in person, it's weird. The restrictions in Australia have lifted a whole bunch, obviously. And also we just kind of thought that it was time for us to go back in person and actually do it a lot more professionally than we did last time. We have seats now.
They're so comfy as well. They are really comfy.
I know, right? I was very, very happy with them. That being said, neither of us are wearing shoes.
No.
which is probably, you know what? When we have no full body shots. Maybe.
Yeah.
I was actually. Oh, it is charged now, but I was actually planning on having a third camera in the middle that would show both of us.
But then they'd see our feet.
Then you would see our feet, and that's not. We don't condone that. That's our studio space. Very exciting. Where did I put my thing? Hang on.
What do you?
I got a package the other day.
Yeah.
And Joe really wants to open it. I'm sure.
I got this handed to me about 20 minutes ago, and I struggled to put it back down.
Yes, and I told him that he couldn't open it. He had to open it on the show. Now, I really hope you know what this is. It's something we've talked about on the show before, which is very interesting. Okay. So I will give you that.
Oh, I'm opening it.
Yes, you're opening it. Yeah. I'm not opening
open it.
I don't know. Here,
the only problem with these...
I'll get you a box cutter. Hang on.
Wait. I think I got it. Oh.
Don't ask questions. It's just on my desk.
I hope I didn't break it.
I hope you didn't break it either.
Corner. All this bubble wrap. Is it just bubble wrap?
Yeah. When have we spoken about bubble wrap on the show, Joe?
I don't know.
There's going to be some interesting ASMR of you just like ripping into the package.
Oh.
Yeah, do you want to take it out and show the camera?
It's still not coming. Oh,
that's a very interesting way of opening a package, Joe.
Very interesting.
I'd like to first show the damage that Joe has done to this package.
Yeah, well,
he has absolutely torn it to shreds. Joe, I want you to... There is an opening section at the top for you to use.
Halfway through it, and then you gave me a knife.
Okay, well, I'm going to put that away. All right. Do you want to show the camera what you've got, Joe?
It is an empty reel. Wait, there we go. An empty reel.
Right?
It is so cool.
So, I think it was episode 2 or episode 3 that we talked about all the old tech that I have.
Yeah.
And one of the issues that we had was that I have an old film projector with a bunch of film reels. that I was put behind Joe before, and he did not realize.
Didn't even know they were there.
And the issue that we had was that the secondary reel that the film spools onto is broken on the one that we have. So we ordered a new one like 3 months ago, and it has just arrived yesterday.
It's out of metal too.
It is, which is much nicer than the plastic one that we have. I want to feel it. Ooh.
I was gonna say, it's not even mine. Why am I still holding it?
But yeah, so
that is really cool.
It feels weird passing stuff between the cameras because it's like
because it was like, this is in my room.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, now I have it. Now Joe has it. It's amazing. If you want to see Joe and I passing a film reel between cameras, you can check us out at the Froe Show on YouTube if you want to see all the stuff that we do and the new studio setup that we put together, which is very exciting. It's really nice. But yeah, that was the mystery package. There's not really much more to that story.
No, I'm excited to see it work.
We'll have a play with it after the show.
Sweet.
I don't really want to do it on the show because I'm afraid that I'll get like all the people that are super into old films and stuff be like, no, that's not how you do it. And I'll just get absolutely murdered.
Yeah, that's fair.
So let's get into some content.
Oh yeah.
What have I got
for us today, Frank?
I have some stuff. I don't know if it's good or not.
Oh, okay.
But it is content, and that's the important part. So the first thing I kind of want to talk about is something that Joe noticed before the show started. To my right, that looks like it's to my left on camera. To my right, which is that way, is my computer and all my monitors and screens and stuff. And Joe mentioned before the show, he goes, "Oh, your computer, your screensaver is The Shining," which is true. If I don't touch my computer for a minute and it's not doing anything, it just starts The Shining from the very beginning. And it's honestly the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
any computer ever.
And I did get caught once. Frank was like, "Are you watching The Shining?" Like, yeah.
And Joe was just standing there like,
just staring at the
screen, watching like the first 10 minutes of The Shining. But no, my obsession with The Shining is getting a little out of hand, Joe.
Oh, really?
Yes, it actually kind of is. Because I made it my screensaver on my computer, and I was doing some work the other day, and you know how you're doing work and then you go online and you catch yourself like doing stuff online. You're like, no, I should be working.
Yeah.
I was online and I was just like searching around, and I caught myself because I was on Etsy looking up the rugs with the Shining carpet pattern on them.
Oh no.
And I really want one for in the studio, but like I can't justify the purchase because it'll never be seen on camera.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, we could...
It would be good sound dampening.
That is true.
Which is also a very good point.
Because this is...
Or the other option, we could make it a show expense, and I could hang it behind us.
Oh. Which
is also an option. But yeah, so my obsession is getting a little out of control.
Yeah,
but
right.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's not a bad thing. I could be addicted to heroin, so you know, I feel like being addicted to The Shining is not as bad.
No. I wouldn't be totally against having The Shining as our background.
All right, well, we will have to see then.
Yeah. Oh, yes. That's great.
Yeah, sorry, I was just taking a sip of my drink. Would you like to share one of the things that you have for this week? Yeah,
well, I'm going to do my little Foley thing at the beginning of the episode.
Oh, okay.
So, this week is... I don't know, it doesn't have his name.
You didn't even write his name.
No.
Disgusting.
Well, right. He doesn't have his name.
Oh, okay, so it's an anonymous tip from one of our listeners.
Yes. It's what... So he believes that they use this in Star Wars, which is why I had to put it in.
Oh, okay. I do enjoy talking about Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. For the doors opening...
Like the... Pew!
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things... Like, I've always talked about sound layering and with Foley and things like that, but one of the sounds could be a sliding a piece of paper out of an envelope.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait. I don't have an envelope or paper for that matter. Oh, actually, I have paper behind you. It's like behind you, like it's on the floor. Because I had to close the printer. Because if I have the printer open, it shows up as like a black hole on the camera, and it's rather terrifying.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really weird.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's a printer and a scanner.
Oh.
Yeah.
That scanner looks like it was made by Elon Musk.
Elon Musk scanner. No, it's a film and photo scanner. So it's for when I want to digitize film.
That's cool.
Yeah. Which now that restrictions are lifted, I can do more film photography, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
Because it was actually kind of shitty. Yeah. I bought all this stuff for film photography. So I bought like a bunch of rolls. They're all behind you. I bought a bunch of rolls of film. I bought all the development chemicals. I bought like development tanks and like everything. Yeah. So that I could develop my own film. I developed one roll before we went into lockdown. And I'm not going to like waste a roll of film in my house.
Yeah.
Like I'm not just going to go around and go click.
Because how much does a roll of film cost? Roughly?
Oh man, I didn't. Film is one of those things where I buy the stuff and I don't really look at how much it costs. I just go, and I like tap my card on the thing. Just go, but I have a whole bunch. Actually, I'll go grab it.
Okay. I cannot look behind me. It's just, this chair's too comfy.
What?
I'm still really liking it because this is a whole new studio setup. Well, relatively new compared to like what I've seen it last.
Yeah, it's really different. Really nice. It's so much more open.
Yeah, it's a massive open space.
So this is all the film that I bought.
Oh, you're giving it to me.
Yes, I'm giving it to you. So that's 35 mil, and this is all 35 mil as well. So that's for like the point and shoots that I have, and that's what you'll normally see. That's like the strips of film that you're used to. Just. And if you look here, you'll see. Wait, are we becoming
it's face tracking?
We're becoming.
You got to put it in your face.
Becoming beauty gurus. Hang on, what's the thing that they do? They do the
something like that.
They like put their hand behind it so it focuses. Yeah, so that's like the 35 mil film, and I also bought this Portra. I can
see the price on the front.
Oh yeah, $22.95 Australian for.
That's not bad.
That's for one roll.
Oh, this one's $30, but yeah,
that was 3 rolls. So this is the Kodak Portra. This is the 160 ISO, and so this is for the big like medium format camera that I have, the Bronica that's behind me.
Oh, that one's
or behind you, I think. So yeah, that's
turn around again.
You keep trying to turn, but you're not going to see them.
Not working.
So that's for that big one. That's like this is like this thick when you take the picture. That's why they're such high quality, because they're just so massive.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now that restrictions have lifted, I can. Yeah, they feel they feel pretty premium.
Dense.
Yeah. They feel dense. That's it. You know what? That's a good word to describe how 120 film feels.
Really?
Yeah.
Dense. Sweet.
Something that's interesting about film that I didn't really realize before I got into it is like when you shoot on digital, right? You got your shutter, you got your aperture, and you have your ISO. So your shutter is like how quickly it takes a picture. Your aperture is how much light's let into your camera, and your ISO is the digital brightening brightening of your image. Basically, is like the for dummies version.
Yeah.
When I got into film, I was like, oh, it'll be interesting because I'll only be able to use my shutter speed and my aperture. I wonder how that'll be without ISO. What I didn't realize was that ISO is not from the digital age, but from the film age. So it's like it's what ISO actually is the film's sensitivity to light, like the actual chemicals in it, how sensitive they are to the light.
Right.
So the lower the number, the less sensitive it is. The higher the number, the more sensitive it is. But when it becomes more sensitive, the image gets grainier, and and it does the exact same thing with digital.
Wow.
So I was really intrigued by that.
That is really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
So you can buy higher ISO.
Yeah, so that's 160, and then that's. Oh, I dropped it.
Butterfingers.
That was 400.
What are these ones?
It should be written on them if you open the canisters. It'll have it written on there. So this is. This is 200.
36?
No, 36 is how many exposures you have.
125.
Yeah, so that's one. Yeah, so it'll be 125 ISO. Let me have a look.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's black and white. That one's. I think that one's exposed as well. So I'll have to get that one developed. Because I don't have any black and white developing kits. I only have color.
What's the difference? Is it like
so
just
it's
the
different
chemicals? Right.
So I only have the chemicals to develop color film. I don't have the chemicals to develop black and white film.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been my my film my adventures in film. I guess.
I remember playing around with your film camera. I think I've only taken one photo because you're like, okay, that's enough.
Because it's expensive.
Yeah.
That was before I was developing my own film though as well.
Yeah.
And I never got. Actually, that's funny. That role that you shot on.
Yeah.
I never ended up getting developed.
Oh really?
Which is my own fault. Because I didn't know how to rewind a spool of film, like a roll of film after, because you shoot all the shots and then you have to rewind it.
Yeah.
And on a film camera, there's a button on the bottom that's the release for the film. So you got to press the button and then you can rewind the film. Didn't know there was a button. So I just pulled out the rewind lever, and obviously because it's all mechanical, nothing is stopping you from doing this.
Yeah.
And you just have to know how it works. And I pulled the lever up and just went
oh, right.
and just ripped through the whole roll of film. And then I was like, oh yeah, that feels like it's like back in the canister now, because it like stops turning at some point.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh yeah, but it was just because there was no threads left on the film, so it was just rolling through. And then I opened the back and just exposed the whole roll. So every photo I shot was just like white.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, that was fun. That was my first experience of film. I didn't touch a roll of film for like 6 months after that, because it's like, fuck this sucks.
Just did not want to. That was really funny.
What's interesting, actually, moving on from film.
Yeah.
What did you end up looking up? What our last episode in person was?
Yeah. We worked it out.
I'm gonna be naughty and get my phone on the show. Sorry,
What?
I apologize.
I think it was like episode 3 or something.
I think it was 3 as well. I know we looked this up before we started the show, but I immediately forgot. Because it's interesting. Because what I wanted to... Okay. Let me... Hang on. Wait. Episode 3 was the last one that we did. Because episode 4 was our emergency episode. So episode 4 we did in person, but we did it like 3 weeks prior. So episode 3 was our last episode in person. So it's been 10 episodes since we've done more episodes online than we have in person.
That is crazy.
Right?
Yeah. And another thing we were talking about before is we don't have headphones.
Yeah, like we're just talking, which is weird because I can't hear myself.
No.
Because I'm so used to having that direct monitor so I can monitor my audio.
Yeah. But now I'm just watching your audio over there.
Have I peaked? I peaked a little bit, I think, sometimes.
We'll find out later.
I think that was from my tests from when I was going.
Probably.
When I was yelling. John and I, whenever we edit the episodes, whenever Joe edits the episodes, and I also hear it when I edit the video, there's like, before we start, we have like 10-15 minutes where we're just sitting there and the audio is recording, and it's just us sitting there going, yeah, and just like making noise and just being loud and like doing stuff we wouldn't normally do to see if our audio peaks and that sort of thing.
One day we should include it.
I think
maybe I'll put it in just.
No, I think I actually have an idea for what I want to do with all that stuff. Okay. I want ultimately, and this is not the announcement for us having put this together, but ultimately,
yeah,
I want to have a Patreon for the show,
where
people can donate and that sort of thing, and then the reward that they get will be, I'm thinking like an extra episode a week, like a short 20-minute episode a week, and the bloopers, like the intro and outro for all of our episodes of us just like chatting shit and like.
I love it.
I think that'd be a good bonus.
Yeah. That's great.
I think we'll set that up soonish. Gives us one more thing to plug, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I was thinking we should do with that.
Yeah, I like
because
that.
we obviously keep all those audio files.
Yeah.
And it's always funny.
Yeah.
We're always sitting there just pissing ourselves because hearing yourself do stupid shit is always funny.
Oh yeah, that's why it's funny to listen back to the podcast.
I always feel a bit self-indulgent doing it, talking like re-listening to the podcast, but I'm like, no, like it's so that I can hear it and hear myself and then be like, this is what we need to improve in the next episode.
Yeah.
But it's always like I always feel like a bit of a twat sitting in my car hearing my own voice. Like just be like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Froe Show. It's like, all right,
Okay.
we get it. You have a podcast.
Okay, maybe we should get back on to
back on track.
creative talking. This week I came across a stereo microphone. And
do you want to explain what that means? Because I don't think we've talked about mono and stereo on the show.
No. So
you don't want to talk about it? That's fine.
no, I meant no. I don't think. I think you're right. We haven't. Anyway. So mono is like when you have the same. Like if you have two headphones or two speakers, it's the same audio coming through both.
Yeah.
Stereo is when you then can use the two channels separately. So you can use one headphone separately or each speaker separately or whatever, depending on the setup. So I came across a stereo microphone. So these microphones that we're using are mono.
Yeah.
So they only record one channel.
What's really actually on an aside, what's really frustrating about this mic is that everything it reads it as a stereo mic, but it records in mono. So then whenever I put it in, it's only in my left ear, so I have to multiply the channel. It's really frustrating.
Yeah, that's when you do double mono to get
to get real mono.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. But yeah, so I came across a stereo microphone. Now I had learnt about these before, but I never actually used one. But what it is just a microphone that records two channels separately. So the one I saw was set up in what they call like an XY setup. So it's kind of like one microphone sitting just over the top of the other, and the diaphragms, so where they're catching the audio, is like right on top of each other.
That's weird. Wait, so what are they called again? Sorry.
So it's a stereo microphone.
Yeah.
And yeah, pretty much it just catches two things. But I was kind of like, well, why would you use that? Because whenever I've been in the studio and I wanted a stereo setup, so maybe I wanted to record two mics on a guitar or something, because I think stereo guitar is just...
You go left and right.
It just sounds so cool.
Yeah.
When you put it in headphones and you pan them properly, it sounds so nice.
Is this part where we talk about Bohemian Rhapsody, or?
Yes. So why would you use that over two mono mics and you setting it up? And I think it's just because of you can get phase cancellation if you do it yourself. What that is when you record something. So if I'm playing guitar and there's two microphones out in front of me, when the sound wave hits one and then the other, they could be, if they're not perfectly in line, sort of thing. So if they don't perfectly line up, when you play them back together, when you play them back together on the speakers or headphones, depending on where the waveforms are, they can cancel out some frequencies.
Oh.
So if a waveform is at its peak and the other one's sort of at its lowest, then that'll cancel out. So then you can get a whole bunch of frequencies that you just don't have anymore, and it can make it sound really, really dumb. There's a specific sound for that you sort of get with phase cancellation. It's kind of weird. Go YouTube it. It sounds really messed up.
Phase cancellation.
Yeah.
Do you want to do your artistic interpretation of what it sounds like?
It's like... no, I don't actually. I'll leave that to you guys to find that.
You leave it up for interpretation.
Yeah.
I just have in my head like a wow, 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 wow.
It's kind of like that. It's sort of like that, but really faint, and you get it's just sort of a weird... No, not quiet. But yeah, so that's why... Because if you set up... maybe if we did the exact same setup, an XY setup with one one mono microphone sitting just on top of the other one, if it's not perfectly in line, there will most likely be some sort of phase problems. But with the stereo microphones, they're sort of meant to not have any. So it sort of tries to reduce that as much as you can. So I thought that was really interesting. And yeah.
Oh.
So I saw someone recording, it was a small brass ensemble. And yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I would just put two stereo microphones in the middle, but two mono microphones in the middle.
Yeah.
But he was like, no, I got this stereo one. Let's just use that.
Oh.
It's like, oh, cool.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah. The other cool thing about them, though, is the XLR input then is different. Because the XLRs, like that, well, that you have, this is a USB mic, but the one that you have is
There should be an XLR down there.
You're pointing behind me again?
Do you want me to get it so that you can use it as an example?
Like, where is it?
You won't be able to reach it.
Yeah,
I'll get it for you.
But yeah, normal XLRs with the three prongs, three holes, have. Thank you. Oh, this isn't got XLR on one end.
Yeah, it's just one end XLR. Sorry.
I don't know if this is gonna work. The camera's really far away. Anyway, they only have three. Yeah. So the two are for the one channel, and then the third one is the shield. So it's sort of protects
it's like the ground for electrical stuff, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. I did the whole like XLR anatomy a few weeks ago, so that's a cool name, XLR anatomy. XL anatomy.
I was trying to think of a better name, but you already kind of nailed it.
Yeah, sorry. But a stereo one has 5 rather than 3. So
does that make it more difficult for when you can't really see? Like, what do you do? What do you do? Does that just plug in to a normal input, or do you need a specific audio interface for that?
So see that. So it'll be
does it go like 5-prong to 3-prong?
Yeah. Right. So you'll get one. You have to get a lead with 5 because the microphone will have a 1 output.
Yeah.
But
the input prongs. For the audio interface will be the 3-prong.
Yeah. Right. So at the other end of the lead, you'll have two normal XLRs, and one will be a left and one will be right. Actually, that'd be interesting. I wonder if they better have it written on each of them, as well as you get it mixed up all the time.
Yeah, sure. So is it then? So you have like a 2-channel then?
Yeah. So then you get a stereo.
Oh, so the 5 splits into 2 3-prong.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. So the 5 is then so there's 2 for each channel, and then one as the shield, but you got 2 for one channel and 2 for the other now. So it makes up 5.
That's so weird.
Yeah. So then you plug 2 in, you get a stereo.
Right.
From one microphone.
How does a computer interpret that information?
Well, it's none of it's the computer, because it's just the
right.
Now you're just plugging it.
No, but I mean, like, would you just like if you have an audio interface, like just a 2-input audio interface? Would it read them as 2 separate mics, or would it read it as one?
It would just read it as two mono inputs.
Right, and then you've got to put them together.
Yeah. Oh. If you just play them together and then pan them, then that's
right. So
that's
like,
a stereo.
Does that mean that everything you record then is technically recorded in mono?
Yeah, pretty much.
But you're panning it to be stereo.
Yeah. Well, if you plug your microphone, the Rode NT1A, into
which is very dusty, and I just see that I need.
Yeah,
really
I can see that now too.
Luckily, that camera is very far away.
Yeah, I didn't actually realize, but mic is in your thing.
It's fine.
Anyway, sorry, just getting sidetracked. What was I saying? You plug that into an interface, it'll sort of. The computer will do it can pretty much do whatever you tell it to. So if you...
Make me coffee.
Look, one day that'll happen.
I feel like Alexa's I probably shouldn't have said the name. Someone's smart device in their home just went doo-doo. Yeah. Wait, let me counteract it. Alexa, stop.
Yeah, come on.
Nailed it.
Oh, man. So if I in Pro Tools brought up a stereo channel track, there we go, stereo track, it would record in stereo, but it would be like, it would technically dual mono.
Yeah,
so
but it's just doing the work for you, basically.
Yeah, it would record the same thing on each side, sort of thing. But if I got a mono track like what I have now with the podcast, it just obviously just records one.
Yeah.
And then, so the difference between dual mono and mono is mono plays 50% of thing on each side.
Yeah.
Dual mono plays 100% each side.
Right. Oh, interesting.
Each headphone or speaker.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah.
Then that's why you get that problem of like if it's only plugged into one end, like if it's only plugged into one, you get like that fake mono where you're actually only getting half of the sound.
Yeah.
Like what you talked about a couple of weeks ago at your shopping centre.
Yeah. I found out what that song was too. I think it's called Joyride.
Joyride.
Yeah, it's an older song.
Oh.
This
Don't play it because
really far away.
we'll get destroyed. You also don't have... Do you have internet here?
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe I shouldn't have said
yes. I'm going to kick you off the internet. Joyride.
I think it's that one.
By who? Adam
Melcher.
Melcher. I'm amazed you can read that.
Yes. I am blind. We realized this earlier in the episode.
Before we started, I was writing up my notes on the computer, and Joe goes, "How can you read that?" And I was like, "I have normal eyes."
You're sitting so far away. I didn't know. I had no idea. And so the iPad was sitting on your chair, and you got up, and you're like, "Don't read my notes." I was like, "It's fine. I can't."
I physically can't.
Yeah. No.
That's actually, I don't think we've ever actually addressed that on the show, is that we don't know what the other person is going to talk about before we start. Like, we do that very deliberately because it's more fun that way. Because then we're both actually learning stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like that's an important thing to address because, like,
probably.
I feel like a lot of shows do that where they do, and obviously not interview-based shows, but, like, a lot of shows will do that where they, like, both talk about what they're going to talk about before the show even starts.
Yeah.
And then they're like... Wow.
Oh,
amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like we just don't have the skills for that. No. Where it's like, wow, that's really cool. It's like, I feel like a lot of the time one of us will say something and the other person will be like, all right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fine. And then that's our cue to move on.
Yeah.
Speaking of moving on.
Oh, segways.
Segways.
Have you ever been on a Segway?
I have actually. I went on.
Oh, really?
When I was a kid. This is not content.
This
but,
is okay. It's our first week back to in person. This is okay.
This is true. Yeah. This is a very conversational episode.
Yeah.
I went on a Segway tour when I was a kid, in Brisbane City for like an event that I was a part of, and I would have been like 10 or 11, and it was just like me.
Did you fall off?
No, they're really hard. It's really hard to fall off.
Oh,
they
really?
like autocorrect you, basically.
Okay.
If you lean too far one way, it'll just go. Whap.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And because like when you lean forward, it speeds up. So like the force will just keep you. The worst thing you can do is like speed. Like if you're falling, you're not really falling. You're going forward.
Yeah.
So if you fall, you're just gonna smash into a wall. That's like the worst you can do, really. But yeah, no, it's not that. It's not that bad.
Yeah. I want to Segway.
So I stumbled across something very interesting this week, and it kind of came about because of all the protests and stuff that are happening in America at the moment, which I also feel like is important to address in the episode because I was thinking about it, and we haven't had this discussion, but I was thinking whether we should or should not do an episode this week, considering everything that's going on. But I think it's more important for there to be voices and for there to be people talking about it and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Regardless of everything that's going on. But there will be links. I'm going to put links and stuff in the description of the episode for places where you can donate, both Australian places for Aboriginal rights and that sort of thing, or First Nation rights, and a couple American ones for the Black Lives Matter movement over there. But some stuff that's kind of come up through that's been very interesting in the arts sector is that a lot of original photos from Martin Luther King Jr. from way back in the day, way back in the day, it was like the 60s,
I always think that those people are like way older than they are.
And that is exactly what I want to talk about because everyone has this misconception and there's a very, very good reason for it. The reason is that every single photo you see of that movement, of that time, is in black and white of Martin Luther King and that sort of thing.
Wait, was there...
Color photography existed, and was used, and every single one of those photos was shot in color, and they made them black and white to make it seem like it was such a long time ago.
Wow.
That
is really
wild.
Yeah.
Absolutely wild. That they were like, we got to make this look older than it is. Let's chuck it in black and white.
Yeah.
But from an arts point of view, I think it's so interesting seeing how one change can completely change the context of art, of an artwork.
Yeah.
And so all those, there's a lot of those photos have been resurfacing, and I don't have any on me at the moment. I just wanted to talk about it more generally. Have been resurfacing in color. So there's all these color photos that have now come out of MLK and of the movement and of all these people that stood up in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And it's really cool, and it's really impressive, honestly. Like, and it's really interesting seeing them in color, because you immediately have so much more of a connection to them as people. Because, like, you know how you see pictures in history books and they're all black and white, and you're like, yeah, that was like ages ago. I have no connection to these people, because obviously we don't live in black and white.
Yeah.
But seeing those pictures in color, you immediately connect immediately connect more than you would on a normal, like in a black and white photo, which is really interesting. The flip side of that, and in the movement that's happening now, is that a lot of art is being used to circulate and to spread information, which I think is just incredible.
Yeah.
Things like infographics and design work and paintings and pictures and street art, all these things are coming together to create this, to educate and to kind of bring people to the movement. And it's exactly what we're doing right now, is talking about it in our art form. And obviously this is an arts podcast, and as much as we could have an in-depth discussion about the movement as a whole, it doesn't suit the format for this podcast. And that's not what our podcast is about. Our podcast is about creativity and the arts. But we can talk about how the arts is influencing and is teaching and educating.
Yeah.
And it's just been really cool. Really cool to see. And currently, something that's really influential and really interesting that I saw, is that there's a street that leads directly to the White House, right? Go straight. It's like one long street. It's really weird to stand there, because you just get a whole view of the White House.
Yeah.
But something that's happening at the moment is a bunch of street artists have come together, and have written in massive yellow letters, like, that cover the whole street. They've written Black Lives Matter and pointing straight to the White House.
Oh, that is cool.
And it's one of the coolest street art pieces I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I'll show you a picture after the show, and I'll link it in the description as well. But super cool. And I just think it's awesome how all these artists and all these people have come together, both black and white and whatever other race artists have come together to share this information and teach and educate. It's really cool. Yeah. I thought it was cool to talk about that.
Yeah, that is really cool.
In terms of going back to what we were talking about with the Martin Luther King photos, is art changing context based on its presentation. Something really interesting that's happened is in Salt Lake City, and obviously every city in America at the moment is having these massive protests, and even crossing into other countries as well. Actually, there's one like at the time of recording right now in Brisbane City.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is really interesting. So it's spreading across the world, which is great. And the ones in Australia are for First Nations rights and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because obviously that's still a massive issue in Australia. And is a lot more suppressed, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But in Salt Lake City, they have a sculpture in front of the police precinct of two hands that are stretched out, palms up, and it's called the Serve and Protect sculpture. And it was created to kind of be a physical representation of the police motto, to serve and protect.
Yeah.
And it's a lovely sculpture. It's very cool. But what some protesters did last week is they got 2 buckets of red paint and they poured it over the sculpture of hands upturned. And I'll show you the picture, and I'll link it in the description, and I'll also pop it up on the thingy here. I can't grab my iPad. Hang on. But they poured these. I'll show Joe here so that he can see it. But this is what they did with the sculpture, and it just makes it look like there's blood on their hands, which is really, really, really cool. So the quote that's with this art piece that they posted online is: "The Serve and Protect sculpture, Salt Lake City's public safety building, sorry, not the police precinct, during today's protest, a demonstration of how art's meaning can change completely with context." I found that super, super, super interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my little interesting thing.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Obviously fairly heavy, but I feel like it should.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be fairly heavy.
Yeah.
Considering the context.
What's going on.
Yeah. But yeah, so that concludes that section. To conclude that section, there will be links to resources and places you can donate and ways you can help in the description for this episode, if you want to, obviously. And I would urge you to, wherever you are, your country, whether you're in Australia or whether you're elsewhere, your country will have something going on. America is with the Black Lives Matter movement. Obviously, the Black Lives Matter movement is everywhere, but America is doing the African American Black Lives Matter movement. Australia is doing it for First Nations and Aboriginal people, and Torres Strait Islander people. Canada is doing it for their Aboriginal people. And there's just, it's all over the world at the moment. So get amongst it, get into it. There will be resources in the description for this episode. So yeah, segue. That's my segue.
Yeah.
You like it?
I like it.
I'm out of water.
I'm going to say segue every time we want to swap topics.
I feel like, you know what, actually, something I really want to do is get a panel with sound effects and stuff.
Yeah.
So that we can just for fun. I think that'd be cool. We could have a what's it called? Like a segue sound effect. We could have some dope intro music. It'd be sick. Some outro music.
Yes.
It'd be cool.
I like it. I'm in.
Anyway, we don't have that, so segue. For the audio listeners, I pressed an imaginary button. I went, boop, segue. Right, go. Well, I'm sure you have something else. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You said you had 3 things, and you've done 2.
Yeah, okay,
so.
that's fair. Something else I learnt this week. This is just, getting back to the. Well, anyway, with being a professional.
Yes.
Quotation marks, I guess.
You can call yourself a professional.
I don't know.
I think you can.
Frank is definitely, I think, more developed in his career than I am. He's a lot better at his craft than I am at mine, I think, at the moment. But
agree to disagree, but okay. I think you are a professional in your own right.
Yeah. Anyway, something I learned.
I keep hitting my microphone. I'm sorry.
Stop hitting it. Move it away a little bit.
No, because it doesn't. It doesn't.
Oh, okay.
I physically cannot.
Yeah, something I learned this week. I always rave about collaboration a little bit. I think it's really awesome, particularly in the audio industry, not only between artists, but between producers and things like that. I always think you can get way better work done, a high quality of work done in less time, just with more people.
Yeah.
But also, you know, when a producer gets, I guess, an artist in, you want to listen to their work. So normally this happens sort of before, but yeah, you want to listen to their work, get to know them, get to know their sound, so you can create something that's probably new, but still
has elements of both of you.
Yeah, and it's still them.
Yeah.
You don't want to make something that's just not them. So, but also, yeah, what I learned is the value of showing the artist your stuff, and it's just to get the other way around. Like, then they can know what your sound is, and then you can, I think, work together better to
and find a middle ground point.
Yeah, to get something that sounds like both of you and sounds, again, collaboration. You can just get a high quality of stuff done.
Yeah, right.
And that see, I say that really easily because showing other people things, your work can be really hard, particularly when you're early off or you don't have much. It's it can be tough. You're like, I'm not confident with this, and it's like, but I would really recommend getting things together, making a portfolio of your work. This is sort of to producers now. Making a portfolio of your work, like I have an online portfolio so that, it's always there, and if I lose, like, if my computer dies or something, it's still all there.
Social media also very quickly becomes your portfolio.
Yeah, for sure. Particularly for your work. That's...
Yeah. Social media is like, it's like the biggest thing on my business card. Yeah. It's like, wow. It's like my Instagram is right there.
Yeah, right. Your Instagram looks dope, though.
Thank you.
It is very cool.
I'm
going to plug Frank's Instagram right now.
At the Frank Menken on Instagram.
Yeah.
You need to set up your professional Instagram. I think.
I do.
I think it's time.
I have one, but I just haven't gotten onto it.
I think it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is too. I've actually heard they say to use your when you're starting out, actually use your personal Instagram, and just turn that into sort of everything.
Right.
Because then you already have a little sort of group of people that will definitely see your work.
Right.
I know you didn't do it that way, but you've...
I kind of did. I created my separate... The reason I created a professional account straight away is that I use a professional name.
Yeah.
So I don't use my... I very distinctly and clearly split my private and professional life. So that's kind of why I did that from the get-go.
Right.
The other reason... But the way that I did that was I set up my secondary account, and that was immediately my business account that was public. And then I advertised that on my private account. And so anyone who was interested in that, because the thing is, if you're plugging that stuff on your private account, the same people who are not interested are not going to engage with that post. So why bother having them look at it? So by advertising it on my private, the people who are interested will follow my public and my professional page, and they'll engage with that work. So I'll have a more engaged audience. That was at least my way of seeing it.
Yeah, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, I heard people say that to do it the other way, just to use your personal one, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know which one would be more successful.
I don't think it's too much about... The thing that I found is it's not about the starting, it's about the continuing. Like, the more that you post and the more that you engage with the community, and I'm really bad at this, so I know that it works, because when I do it, I grow I grow significantly faster.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of work is the thing. And it's just engaging in the community, giving real feedback. You get all those bot and spam comments that are beautiful, amazing, great work, love it, love this shot, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But you want to create actual work that's real. And create actual comments where it's wow, I really love the lighting in this shot, and that's how you get and I'm talking specifically for photography, but even for producing, you could be wow, I really loved what you did for that beat, I don't know, something. But giving real feedback and real comments is really helpful, I think.
Yeah.
For social media, at least. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But I feel like you had more to say on that. I feel like I cut you off. Sorry.
I don't know what else I had to say about that.
Okay.
Let me look.
He's checking his notes. But no, I think I think Instagram is very much for visual content. But I think that the way that you can do it as a producer is to create visual content for your audio content.
Yeah. So this is another thing that I've struggled with, and probably why I haven't gone into putting it all up there, or creating an Instagram and all that, is because I don't really know how I'm logistically gonna do that.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. I do follow a couple. I follow Andrew Huang on Instagram and a couple other producers and that sort of thing, and I think that the way that they do it is very much a behind the scenes thing, where it's here's me working on my new track, or here's me squashing fruit for some Foley, that sort of thing. And it's just making it weird. It's basically what we do here, talking about the behind the scenes stuff, but doing it visually, I guess. Is really the way that they do it.
Yeah. Yeah, another interesting thing to look into. I guess. Yeah.
Instagram is hard though. It's one of those things that's like people always hype it up, but really the best way for you to get engagement and get work is with real people. Like you're not gonna get work through Instagram. Very rarely will you get work through Instagram. Very rarely will you get work through social media. The way that you get work is by working. Like you got to talk to people and offer your services, and then by offering your services, having them like your services, and then when someone else goes, oh, I need a headshot or I need product photos, then they go, oh, I know someone who did that for me, and then they show the photos that they got, and then they go, oh, that's cool. And I assume it's the same with producing, where it's like you produce someone's track and then they like what you did, and then someone else goes, oh, I want to record a song, but I don't know what to do, and they go, oh, this is my producer. Like, I assume it's very similar.
For sure. I've gotten a few of those messages. It was like, oh, I heard you do this. Like, can you do this for me? It's like, yeah, man.
You're like, yes, I can. I can absolutely do that.
So, yeah. No, it's really cool.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on TikTok and sharing, or maybe creating like doing your Instagram stuff on TikTok?
So TikTok is I find TikTok very difficult because it's easy. It's easier in terms of the algorithm is a lot better than any other social media. The TikTok algorithm knows exactly who to show your videos to, which is really, really cool. Really, really cool. What's frustrating for me is that the first video I ever posted on TikTok is my most popular, and every other video since then has gotten like a quarter, like a tenth of what I got on that video.
Yeah.
What works for photographers on TikTok is a lot of behind the scenes stuff and then showing the final product. So like, here's the before shot, here's the after shot, or like, and adding stories to it as well. Like, I posted one where I posted my my self-portrait series, and I basically was like, I opened the video with like a shot of me putting my lens on my camera, and then it like zooms into the lens and shows the pictures.
Yeah.
And I said something like, I may not be a model, but I am a photographer whose models bail on him, or something like that, which isn't true. Like, I do self-portraits as part of my work. But it just adds that extra level of like, oh, that's sad. Let's see what he did. Like,
yeah.
It just adds that extra incentive for someone to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because as you said, the algorithm is like so much better, and I think it's a lot easier to get people to see it.
Yeah. I think and the way that TikTok works is a lot better. Like in the sense that they will show that they do the thing where they show your video to a small sample size of people, and then depending on their engagement with it, it'll show it to a slightly larger bit, and then slightly larger, and then slightly larger, and it just keeps going until it tapers off.
Yeah.
So it is easier to get engagement on TikTok, I guess. But the thing is, you have to have good content.
Yeah.
Or be hot. Which also helps.
Yeah. So you can get it like off the ground in the earlier stages of that
sort
of process. This pop filter is causing me all kinds of grief.
We'll have to get you a better one. I think it's time.
I'm just not going to touch it.
Just don't touch it. Just don't touch it. You could use... We're just talking about mics now.
Yeah.
You have your Shure mic though. You have the...
Yeah.
We could switch to handheld.
That could be interesting.
For the podcast. Could be weird.
No, I don't think I'll use that.
All right.
I'm upgrading a bunch of stuff in the next few weeks anyway, so.
Can we go shopping?
Yeah.
All right, sick. The Froe show shopping trip.
Yeah, that's when we can get the
No, I got to buy that online. I got to buy that on Etsy. Okay. There's so many. It's actually really cool. I'm
excited for you to show me some after this.
I will show you some. While all this is exporting after the show. We're just get. I think the last 10 minutes of the show are just going to be us talking about how we make it. The exporting takes so long. The exporting takes so long.
It's funny. I was just thinking the same thing. It's like, we're going to talk about how we make this show now.
I mean, like,
yeah. So
I always watch podcasts, and I was like, oh yeah, like it seems so off the cuff, and I think that's why people like podcasts. It's like it feels so chill and very like obviously we do prep work for the show, and that's obvious because we come with like these stories and we come with stuff, so people know that there's an element of preparation. But the work that goes into it is just immense, and obviously we're a smaller show.
Oh yeah.
That doesn't and the larger we get, and we're feeling it now, where it's like as we're growing as a show, our setup is growing and our effort is growing.
Like, how long did you say you spent setting this up today?
Like an hour.
Yeah. So, and I got here probably half an hour, 40 minutes before we actually started.
Yeah. So it was like an hour setup, and then it was like 45 minutes of prep. So it was an hour 45 before we even started recording.
Yeah.
We're recording now, obviously. And then afterwards, I'm going to have to export all the video from like all of that process. You're going to have to export the audio.
And now that we have two cameras, you're talking about the new editing.
Editing's going to be a mess. But yeah, no, it's just like, and it's one of those things where it's like, it's just a growth, and it's an increase in quality that I think is important.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like the video version of the podcast has been on the back burner for a while, and I feel like it's time to really bring that forward now.
Yeah.
And that means doing a double camera setup. Oh, I just hit my funny bone. That was really uncomfortable. Yeah, that means doing a double camera setup and putting more time into the edit, and really getting a hold of what that's going to look like. And we like starting promotion, I think, soon.
Yes.
Joe and I are at a point with the show where we're very happy with it. And like we can see that it's growing, which is very cool. It's very cool to see, and we really appreciate people listening to it and listening to what we have to say. So it's really nice to see that feedback. And we kind of want a way where we can hear that feedback.
Yeah.
And hear what people have to say, and ultimately, I think, have a large show that's like...
Yeah.
That's obviously the dream goal for every podcast, is to have a proper studio space with like with people employed, and create like an actual thing. Like currently it's just us. Yeah. And we're lucky in the sense that our jobs mean that the podcast that we create can be of a higher quality. Yeah. But even then, there's stuff that, even with our technical expertise, that we're limited to. Like technically, we know how to use all of this equipment. Yeah. Financially, on the other hand, I can't afford to buy 3 cinema cameras. No. You can't afford to buy professional grade mic equipment. No. Like it's just, it's a slow growth, but I'm happy with where we're at.
Yeah, it's looking good.
I'm very happy.
And I'm keen for this. I'm doing a big upgrade with sort of my equipment, and that'll mean that we can use some of that for this as well. And
exactly.
And we'll be able to record onto the one computer. Yes.
Yeah, it's a bit. Our setup's a bit jank, but it works. It works, and that's all that matters.
But yeah, we won't get into it too much more, I think, because people will be like, Why?
No. Point being, thank you. Yes. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for being a part of it. And we really appreciate it. We'll plug some. I think I'll properly get all that stuff set up this week, because I have more time now that I'm not studying. Yeah. Like I have 6-month break, so I think one of my spare days I'm going to spend on the podcast and stuff. Yeah. Cool. But yeah, so exciting. Thank you. We appreciate it. Woo. Yay. I have one last thing to finish on. Oh yeah. You already did your Foley thing. Oh, I was so excited. I had a moment where I was like, "Oh, after this, I get to hear Joe's Foley thing." It's fine.
Okay, I'll save it for the end for the next time.
Yeah, thank you. I look forward to them.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I enjoy them. No, don't look at my. Joe just caught a glimpse at my screen, and I don't particularly appreciate it. Oh, I just covered my face. Sorry. I have one last thing. I technically have 2, but I don't want to talk about the last one. It doesn't really fit in anymore. So I stumbled across this the other day, as I do with most things. I am a stumbler and not a researcher. So I found this the other day, which I found very interesting. It's a still from the production crew of Baby Driver, which we've talked about on the show before, in very short bursts. But we both very much enjoy the film.
I always love that film.
It's one of my top 3, which I've mentioned a lot, but my top 3 is The Shining, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and Baby Driver.
Yes.
But this is... it's a shot of the rig that they use for the stunt driving. Because obviously you can't have actors actually doing all the stunt driving, because that would be very illegal and very dangerous. Yeah. So what they do is they create a rig on top of the car that actually controls the car, and the stunt driver sits on top, and then they have all the lights and the cameras rigged to the car to film the inside of the car while the stunt driver is on top actually driving.
Oh, no way.
And the actors are inside pretending to drive.
What?
So this is a picture of the setup that they use for Baby Driver for the intro sequence. So that's what it looks like.
What the heck?
So the stunt driver sits literally on top of the car. I'll just hand that to you so you can have a look.
A box.
Yeah, so it's like they build this little roll cage on top of the car so that they don't die if something goes wrong.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's wild, right?
That is insane.
And then they're just sitting on top and it's a tiny little steering wheel. It's not even like a full size steering wheel. It's just like a little circle for them to like whap.
I love he's got little mirrors as well.
Yeah,
why does he need mirrors?
Yeah, it's like an actual car, but it's just built outside of the interior of the car.
Wow.
It's cool, right?
And then the cameras and all this on the outside.
Yeah. And all this.
All that, yeah, look.
It's you've got a camera, you've got so that's
is that a light there?
Yeah, so you've got a camera, you've got a fill light and a spotlight, I think is what they have. From what I can see. But yeah, just insane how
does the car not like roll over?
That's why you pay a stunt driver. That's the exact reason you pay a stunt driver.
I'm going to research that for next week.
I'm sure it would be a considerable amount of money
compared to like actors.
Well, actors make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because the thing with actors is that they get licensing fees and stuff for their own face, basically, is why they get paid so much, because it's like, you get to have my likeness and do whatever you want with it. So
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but, that's a mental risk, whereas stunt drivers have the physical risk of, I could be paralyzed or die, which is arguably much worse.
Jeez.
Such a morbid way to end it.
Yeah, I know.
Joe's Foley thing for this week was the Star Wars door was a paper envelope. I just wanted to end on it because it makes me sad that it's not at the end of the episode.
Sorry. That was one of the sounds in the...
Yeah. I think the other one is George Lucas just going...
Probably.
All right. Should we end it there?
Yeah, let's end it there.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning into the Froe Show this week. That was episode 13, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
First episode back in person.
So good.
Very good. Very happy. If you want to check out the show on YouTube, you can find us at the Froe Show. If you want to check us out on any other podcast app, I don't know why you would. You've already listened to the episode. But find us at the Froe Show on literally every other podcast app of your choice. Make sure you rate and follow and subscribe or whatever the button says for you to do. And we will see you next week. Joe, I know I ask you this every week and your answer is always the same. But Joe, do you have any parting words for the show?
No.
All right. Thank you. Really appreciate it. We'll see you all. We'll see you all next week. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.